Hey folks, lyarri here. Today we're reacting to How Disney Controlled Raven Symone. She Needed to Escape by Patrick CC. I watched a lot of That's So Raven, but I don't really know that much about Raven Symone actually, so I'm curious to hear the story. Let's go.
She was on the Forbes list before her first kiss. Raven Symone redefined the Disney Channel. At one point, she was the Disney Channel. They invested
Oh,
so much into her because of her incredible talent and her loyalty. But like all Disney stars, she was trained what to say in interviews, how to dress, told what she could and couldn't eat. They even told her at one point her skin was getting too dark and she needed to change. Working in the industry
oh.
since a child finally reached a tipping point, until she needed to break the restraints of Disney and take her life into her own hands. Stay hydrated. 2 years old
Okay.
was when Raven started working. Her parents would push her around in a stroller, and people would think that Raven was a doll, not a human, insinuating that she was near perfect looking. Atlanta's Young Faces Incorporated was the agency her parents contacted. She was immediately getting advertising jobs for big brands.
I mean, she was a very pretty baby, but, like, not healthy to do to your kid.
Daddy and mommy, everybody.
With opportunities booming in New York City, her family uprooted there and signed with the Ford Modeling Company. The Cosby Show, 1989. 4-year-old Raven noticed her mother infatuated with Rudy. She said, "Mom, I can do what Rudy does." She started acting and mimicking Rudy on the TV. Ford got her an audition for a role in the movie Ghost Dad, starring Bill Cosby, but she was too young for the part. Highly impressed by her skill at such a young age, Bill wanted her on his own show. The character Olivia Kendall was created. The Cosby Show's depiction of a successful black family was groundbreaking for an American TV show in the 80s.
I didn't even know she was in the Cosby Show. Okay, I learning something today.
The Huxtables were loving, positive people who
Also, seeing Bill Cosby is so weird feeling.
respected their kids and respected others. Bill Cosby hoped to advance race relations in America and reverse black stereotypes. Whether or not he was successful is up for debate, and his recent sexual assault crimes could have permanently tarnished his reputation. But there is
It
no
did.
debate that millions of people of all races love The Cosby Show. Raven and Bill's chemistry was unmatched. She stole everyone's heart when she was introduced.
No, you don't. Everybody knows that the stork brings the baby.
Raven acted in the last 3 seasons of the show, where every episode debuted to roughly 29 million people. The Cosby Show earned $2.5 billion over its lifetime. Even if she had a bad contract, chances are she still made huge money from that show. However, she doesn't remember a thing.
I don't remember a scene. I don't remember anything while it's a rehearsal or a camera.
Raven has maybe 3 distinctive memories of her time on that show, and one of
Yeah,
them
if
is
you're
how
that
the
young.
food smelled on set. Later on in life, she learned of her dissociative disorder. She essentially blacks out when she's acting and autopilots her way through her performances, acting instinctively on how she was trained. I was not taken advantage of by Mr. Cosby when I was on The Cosby Show. I was practically a baby on
This
that
is a
show,
transition.
and this is truly a disgusting rumor that I want no part of. Everyone on that show treated me with nothing but kindness. Now keep me out of this. In 2014, sexual misconduct allegations were running rampant on Bill Cosby. Naturally, people turned to those who were closest to him for answers. The media would ask Raven a lot about this, no matter how much she dodged the questions. They were fishing for a juicy story.
How do you feel right now about Bill Cosby and his current situation?
Justice to a man who put me in the game. I'm torn.
So you kind
I'm
of just
trying to do this show right
Right,
now.
okay, I
That's
get what you're
going to
saying,
work
never
it out.
mind.
I want everybody who deserves justice to get justice.
She recognizes how much of an impact he had on her career and wishes the best for the victims, but she, despite not remembering much of that time in her life, has nothing but positive experiences to share.
I think, like, when you're in that position, it's a difficult question to answer. I do wonder, like, does she, like from what the clips that he gave us, it felt like she was more like dodging it and not saying, oh, like, he was really positive for me. Because, like, there's a different connotation with, like, saying, he was really positive with me, justice. Then, like, I think that the folks who, I think that, like, depending on what you put focus on. Sorry, I lost my train of thought, but I think I got my point.
Parents said she needed something to fall back on, despite only being 7 years old, in case acting didn't work out. So they got her a record deal with UMG and released a full studio album in 1993. Here's to New Dreams, a 10-track album that sold 75,000 units. The lead single was That's What Little Girls Are Made Of, which accompanied a music video. The track actually peaked at number 68 on the Billboard Hot 100. She performed and worked on this album at night after full days of shooting The Cosby Show, likely putting in 12 to 18-hour work days before even having a conscious brain. After The Cosby Show ended, Raven immediately
conscious
landed
brain?
another role as Nicole Lee in ABC's Hangin' with Mr. Cooper, another sitcom that ran from 1992 to 1997, airing immediately after Full House. Raven had back-to-back consistent and successful sitcom jobs that were seen by millions. On top of these 3 major projects, she did one-off episodes, TV movies, and feature films like The Little Rascals and Dr. Dolittle with Eddie Murphy and Chris Rock. Raven was already a legend by middle school. That's where things started to change. Raven had a double life. She actually went to public school at Webb Bridge Middle School and then North Springs High School in the north side of Atlanta. So after she was on TV for most of her life, she got thrown into public school with a bunch of normal kids. Going to public school could have been a huge reason why she didn't spiral out of control. Experiencing what the average childhood is like and being able to blend in with and understand people your age gives you a sense of stability. Whereas most child stars grow up in the Hollywood bubble and are so out of touch with the rest of society, leading them to say and do wild things.
Having like a grounded social connection and people who like are outside of your bubble is always like a good thing. Yeah.
Raven's public school experience was not perfect. Kids were seeing her on TV and then using that image against her. Oh, you have to act like this. You have to dress like this. You must be this character that I see on TV. Who are you? Raven didn't know who she really was, causing her to struggle with her identity at a young age, which after saying that out loud sounds pretty normal. Like, weren't we all struggling with discovering who we really are versus what other kids thought of us?
I think it's a little different when you're like a child actor. Like I definitely, because you're literally like from a really young age trying to get into like these super like these roles and like act as different people, and like it must be really interesting like how you like mentally like connect the two as a kid, especially like I'm sure like some teachers are good but some are really bad, and like yeah, or like not necessarily bad but they teach you how to like handle things in ways that aren't necessarily conducive to you.
What I was told, but then behind the scenes ate, because looking back, that was the only thing that I could really control. That was the only thing that I had for myself. My clothes were picked, the words I was saying out of my mouth were someone else's or practiced multiple times.
Raven resorted to food to escape. It was the only choice she had. They took all of her choices away. When she started gaining weight, managers, producers, and even family told her that she needs to maintain her weight. She needs to upkeep an image for TV. But almost all of us at some point need to focus on maintaining a healthy lifestyle. Luckily today, we have EzToned, which makes it possible to get an intense workout done at home or anywhere you go in as little as 15 minutes a day. I don't like going to the gym, nor do I want to pay a membership fee. From my living room, I can use the Easy Resistance bands with up to 200 pounds of resistance to do my workouts. The Easy Bar is high quality and simple to attach the bands to. Unfortunately, I don't look like this. Luckily, I can use as little as 20 to 30 pounds of resistance, but y'all can go up to 200 pounds. I work from home, so I do a lot of sitting down. Leaving my house can interrupt my workflow. Now, whenever I need a quick break, I can just attach my door anchor, easy grip handles, and get a gym quality workout in just 15 minutes. It all comes in this small portable box and ready to travel wherever you go. Get your Easy Bar today and get a full body workout literally wherever you want. Just click the link in the description and use Patrick20 at checkout for 20% off your order. Her career slowed down just a little bit at the end of the 90s. She had an animated show role and starred in Dr. Dolittle too.
Wait, she was in the Proud Family? I need to look at her like history apparently.
Then she would land the most defining role of her career. That's So Raven. Originally called The Future Is on Me, with lead character Dawn Baxter. Raven originally auditioned for the role of the best friend Chelsea. She was so good
To be fair, my age is totally like the reason for this.
good and embodied the role so well that they changed the lead character's name to Raven and obviously changed the title of the show. Michael Poirier is the creator of the show. He also created Hannah Montana. He also changed the lead character's name to Miley since Miley Cyrus fit the role so well. Basically, he's really into giving these children identity problems. Raven Baxter is a psychic high school student that allows her to see visions of the future. Often the plot revolves around Raven trying to prevent this vision from happening because she didn't like the outcome. Usually she miscalculates the events, which gets her friends, or family into even more trouble.
I remember this
Raven's
episode.
two best friends, Chelsea and Eddie, are the only ones that know about her abilities and act as her confidants throughout the show. Raven was able to shine brighter than ever before. Her comedic timing was great. Her physical comedy and insane character disguises were brilliant. She could be considered the best all-around star that Disney ever had. This was the Disney Channel's first multi-camera sitcom, and it was reported to be the highest rating original program in the network's history.
They did do a lot on the
first
show.
episode debuted to 3.6 million viewers and averaged over 3 million viewers per episode for the next 4 years. The show and cast were nominated for various awards over 50 times. They wrote junior novels that were printed into books based around this show. They made several handheld video games based on the show. Game Boy and DS games that hit stores and actually had decent reviews from fans. It was nominated for 2 Emmys. This show was a redefining moment for
Okay, sorry, I paused a little early, but just the video game thing is incredible. What the hell?
Disney. At the same time of doing her own wildly successful show, she also became a member of the Cheetah Girls. Raven, Adrienne
This I knew.
Bailon, Keely Williams, and Sabrina Bryan were a fictional pop group that turned into a real group. It's a pretty weird story. It actually started as a fictional book series written by Deborah Gregory in 1999, about 3 girls who wanted to pursue a music career and take over the world. The Cheetah Girls series consisted of 12 books before the movie came out. Book series becoming movies is nothing new. However, the Disney Channel was taking a risk on making a movie about a story they didn't create. The risk paid off. In 2003, the Cheetah Girls movie premiered to 6.5 million viewers, sold 800,000 DVD copies, and the soundtrack went 2 times platinum. The girls signed to Hollywood Records, which is Disney's record label. Raven was also working on her own solo music career. That's So Raven's soundtrack sold 500,000 copies. Her album This Is My Time sold 235,000 copies and peaked at number 51 on the Billboard Hot 200. The group was kinda doomed from the beginning. The 4 girls have fictional names: Galleria, Chanel, Dorinda, and Aqua. Raven would be in the movies and sing the songs, but would
Galleria?
not tour with the group for some reason. She did some live performances, but was inconsistent due to her being incredibly busy with That's So Raven and her own music career. I just can't imagine how strong a group and brand could be when one of their members, especially the most famous one, is barely in their performances. The Cheetah Girls brand continued to thrive throughout the years. The second soundtrack went platinum and debuted at number 5 on the Billboard Hot 200. The second movie generated over $19 million. But by the third movie, Raven was out of the group, which caused internal struggles, and they slowly faded away. Raven wanted to retire at 18. She was exhausted from literally carrying the entire Disney Channel on her back, having 2 major roles, and I didn't even mention that she was voicing Monique on
Wait, she
Kim
was
Possible
Monique?
for 5 years, which was one of the network's biggest animated series at the time. She was constantly trying to keep up with what other people wanted of her.
I need to
speaking
rewatch
other
Kim
people's
Possible.
words, wearing clothes that other people picked out. She even used to tan in a tanning bed 3 to 4 times per week because she thought she would be prettier if she was darker skinned. She didn't stop until a lighting technician asked her,
The lighting guys came up. I love him to death. I love him. Oh my goodness. He goes, Raven, I need you to stop tanning. You're getting too dark, and we have to relight the whole entire show.
so now she couldn't even decide her own skin tone because it would inconveniently change the lighting of the set. Her weight
Yeah, that's a
fluctuated
little
lot.
messed up.
Interviewers, blogs, media outlets were constantly talking about her body.
I feel like, okay, and he hinted towards that in the beginning, and it totally sounded worse in the beginning. Like, now it sounds just like a budget thing. Like, the producers didn't want to spend the money, which is also really shitty. But yeah.
She fell into a depression, trying to live up to these beauty standards. Despite her struggles, she became a representation and role model for black women who were a little bigger without realizing it. So it was a double-edged sword. When she was 23, That's So Raven was over. Kim Possible was over. She left the Cheetah Girls. Her final solo album was released. She slowed down a lot, finally got some sense of normalcy back into her life, but wanted to pursue more adult roles to escape Disney. She landed a role on the ABC sitcom State of Georgia in 2011. She lost 70 pounds for this role, which got everyone's attention.
Oh my
The show
God.
executives wanted her to be thicker, so they padded her outfits and essentially made her wear fat suits to match the body type they envisioned for her. So she finally lost all this
I'm so
weight, and then they
confused.
wanted her to be bigger. The first episode premiered to 1.3 million viewers, as it was her first lead in 4 years. The last episode premiered to 600,000, which was a
that's not-
56% decline in viewership. The show got canceled after 1 season.
Okay, it depends on the years, okay? Like, maybe this was like 2000 and like early 2010. So if it was like current day, that's good viewership numbers, I'm pretty sure.
and this would be her last Hollywood role for a long time.
But yeah,
in true
back
Raven
then it
fashion,
wasn't.
She predicted her future in 2011.
What do you think you want to do?
I want to produce, I want to create, I want to give other people a chance.
I love her
to grow. I
hair.
want to paint, I want to move out of the country.
She took some time off from the spotlight, got
Man,
an
I
art
love her hair
degree,
again.
and successfully made it out of Disney without an addiction, a criminal record, or a wild phase. When Supreme Court overturned the
What's the
Defense of
problem with a
Marriage Act
wild
in
phase?
2013, various U.S. states legalized gay marriage. I can finally get married. Yay, government. So proud of you. This
I
was the
didn't know
first
she was
step of
gay.
Raven introducing to the world who she really was, but it wasn't immediately accepted by everyone.
I want to be labeled a human who loves humans. I'm tired of being labeled. I'm an American.
Okay.
I'm not an African American. I'm an American.
Even
Oh.
Oprah gave her a second chance to explain because she knew everyone was going to explode over that comment. Raven got eviscerated online for saying she does not identify as African American. If you say someone is African American, you are insinuating that they are black. Raven says there's a difference.
I never said I wasn't black. I said I wasn't African American. And to me, that's a difference.
But then she proceeds to say that she is from every continent in Africa. She meant country.
I am from every continent in Africa except for one.
So if your family has genetic ties to Africa but has been living in America since its inception, that quite literally makes her African American.
I can't
but
comment
there seems
on
to be
this.
3 different responses to her comment. I don't label myself. I'm an American. This one being the less deep argument and almost belittling her. Being American is a label. Basically everyone and everything has a label to a degree. I get what she's saying. White people do not say I am a German American or Irish American or European American, etc. So why do black people have to be in a different category? The problem with no labels is that if you don't have a label, how do you form a community? Whose rights are you fighting for? Labels are necessary to form a community, create solidarity, and fight for the rights of that group. Something to also be considered is that Raven has never been able to speak her true feelings and her true opinions. She was trained by Disney and her publicists to answer questions in a very specific way. Once you drop those restrictions, you realize how hard it is to properly convey your thoughts and emotions. The backlash didn't send her into hiding. It made her want to talk more.
Raven
Yeah, like-
Symone is now permanently.
I do think like he raises a good point about like her life changing and it being hard to give answers about things that you want to give answers about in a way that actually explains your thoughts when like you've spent your entire life being coached around not doing that.
Raven got a permanent spot on The View, which is daytime television where a panel of women discuss news, pop culture, hot topics, controversial topics, etc. She wanted to be known for her thoughts, her feelings, her opinions, not someone else's that wrote them and she recited them. But she found out over and over again that people did not like her thoughts.
I like her hair though.
Discriminatory against words like the ones that they were saying in those names. I'm not about to hire you if your name is Watermelon Andrea. It's just not gonna happen.
She did apologize. My comments about discrimination have spun out of control. I've been denied many jobs because of my skin color.
Okay, sorry. I wanted to pause this before. Like, I will say, like, it literally sounds like the like old like she was in Disney since she was like 3 years old, and the arguments that she has, like that she's saying, like there especially, are like literally the thing that she probably heard growing up, like from like the random Disney producers. I wouldn't be surprised.
Body size and age. Each time I was rejected, my self-esteem was negatively affected, so I empathize with those who feel victimized by what I said. As an equal opportunity employer, I have never discriminated against a name, even though I said I would. It's not true. My comment was in poor taste.
Not Michelle Obama. Not Michelle.
Also, she's like The View is intended to entertain, right? So you would agree that I can believe that she didn't genuinely mean it 100%, but she knew that like based on her childhood and where she grew up, especially, that there's people who would find that funny. The context of the time she said it in is pretty bad though. I'm not trying to like make excuses for her, even though I literally am. Yikes.
Don't fire me from this right now, but some people look like animals. Is that rude? The girl was told multiple times
To get off of her
to get off the phone. There's no right or reason for him to be doing this type of harm. That's ridiculous. But at the same time, you got to follow the rules in school. First of all, why are there cell phones in school? I'm doing an interview with someone, and the producer of this show, can I touch you, Joy, or should I do it too soon?
Please do.
Okay, I'm not going to hurt you. She goes like this, move, get Kendall,
Okay, I'm a little upset.
What's the
I will say though, just saying, this is totally, totally. I can totally see all this stuff being stuff that were in the Disney producer rooms.
One beauty product that you can't live without. You're busy, you're on The View, you're always working.
Elizabeth Arden, 8-Hour Queen. Oh, that's okay. Someone's more important, so I'm gonna let her go.
Sorry.
It seemed like Raven would miss the mark a lot when trying to give her opinions. She doesn't seem to have ill intent, but in a live setting, while also having time restrictions, it's hard to get your point across effectively. Other people do look at this as a positive. They see Raven as someone who's willing to say whatever she feels, despite the backlash. One thing we definitely can tell is that she doesn't have a filter. There's no dancing around what she wants to say, which is rare. Her time spent on the talk show was short-lived because she got a huge opportunity to executive produce and act in a That's So Raven spinoff.
I think, like, it is a little silly to me, that defense, because a lot of what she's saying are just, like, common things that people say about, especially socially disadvantaged folks, either economically or culturally or whatever. Just, like, said bluntly without any context. And, like, typically when you have like a platform, you're expected to like give more than like the basic, like, oh, someone who has absolutely no understanding of any of the context of the situation can arrive at this opinion, and it's like kind of understandable in some ways. Like her comment about how some people just look dirty. I mean, like, sure, but also there's a reason.
Called Raven's Home. The show is about Raven Baxter as an adult with 2 kids. Her and her best friend Chelsea are both single divorced mothers living together. She learns that one of her children, Booker, has psychic visions just like her.
I
The
watched
show
2
premiered on the
episodes of
Disney
this.
Channel in 2017 to 3.5 million viewers. It has been highly regarded since the humor aged with the audience. Sure, it's still a kid's show, but there's plenty of adult humor that the original audience can enjoy. It is now in its 5th season, making it almost as long as the original series. She also had a 5-year-long role in the popular series Black-ish as Rhonda Johnson, also
was in
voice acting on Big
Black-ish?
City Greens. On top of that, she is now married to her wife Miranda Madej. They have a pretty low-key YouTube channel where they talk about their relationship, their lifestyle, and really all the same things a typical YouTube vlog would consist of. She also has released 3 albums
They're so cute
independently that
together.
have some really good songs on there. Raven is 36 and is a 30-year veteran in Hollywood. While her words may have changed people's opinions of her and may have gotten her into trouble, those controversies are extremely mild compared to her counterparts. Her career and accolades speak volumes about her immense talent and drive to accomplish what she sets her mind to.
I mean, okay, I take it, like, didn't a lot of the other like folks just have like personal spirals? They didn't necessarily actually. Oh, I paused on the worst time. Actually, I don't know enough to. Maybe they had like worse comments about people. Actually, I wouldn't be surprised at all. Never mind.
She redefined Disney and paved
Like Raven's comments, like I was trying to say with the whole Disney producer thing and where she grew up, like it's understandable in a lot of context. I feel like it's also, you can say she should know better at a certain point, especially when she's on The View and like is doing this consistently. But I can also understand that like it's an entertainment product, and the folks in her ears, the producers telling her what to do, are probably like saying like, "Oh no, you're doing good." But like, it's complicated. I don't know.
paved the way for many stars after her. She's also the first of her generation with a successful reboot. We will see how many follow her lead. She stopped caring about what other people think. She stopped working for other
That's
people.
actually a good
She
point.
stopped speaking other people's words and ideas and focused on herself. Her legacy and impact is stamped forever. And I'm sure that bank account is looking pretty nice too. She seems to be happier and healthier than ever. If you're wondering why I never mentioned her alleged relationship with co-star Orlando Brown, that's because I
Really?
made this whole video about it. So go watch that.
What is that photo? Okay, I mean, I like the video. I'm not subscribed to him on this account. Yikes. But this is a cool video. Like I appreciate a lot. Like, it's really hard to give like a nuanced and accurate portrayal on Disney stars. Like, so many people have an opinion about them. There's so much information out there and so much like fan theories. Like, I really respect the effort that goes into making these kinds of videos. This reminded me of your Miley video of how she broke free from Disney's clutches as they try to control your entire identity. She couldn't even decide her own skin tone. It's absolutely ridiculous how far Disney wants to control their stars. Like, it is crazy like the folks who decide like, oh yeah, like we want to use child stars, but if we use them, we have to control we have to make sure the brand image is safe. We have to control them and make sure that we know what they're doing. It's a little much. I'm happy that like I think society has like somewhat shied away from that. Like at least like folks are more like 13 to 16 when they're like going crazy into acting, which is still maybe arguably young, but like better than Raven who was doing it from like 3. Um Raven was always different from other show leads and Disney stars. I always was able to relate to her, even as a male. Her dedication and success really is something to look up to. And even though I haven't been keeping up with her recent work, it's so cool seeing her be successful. Keep it up, Raven. I do think I think she was just a really good actor. Honestly, like I feel like thinking about like That's So Raven compared to like the other live action Disney shows I watched, like she was really funny and like memorable. And like it felt like she felt like a real person. And also I think like of course her being on so many things in the face of Disney. I know like later on like Hannah, like I think with when I was growing up and like more when I could like when I was like a teenager and stuff, like Miley Cyrus was the face of Disney. But like I I feel like it like Miley Cyrus felt more like or Hannah Montana felt more like a business than I guess Raven did. And I'm sure part of that's like branding and stuff too. I don't know. Disney naming shows after their actors, then claiming the rights to their name is so disgusting. Yeah. Pat, I'm a journalist and still doing my master's at the moment. In all my 5 years, I can honestly say the level of storytelling in your content is unmatched. It's incredibly structured and methodical. I feel like I'm deep diving with you into an investigation. Your content is the only content I don't find myself drifting off from. I'm invested from the get go. I think he does a good job of hooking, for sure. And like he's paced pretty well. Her opinions really weren't bad, lol. She just maybe didn't convey them well. They always had a point, just didn't get her. Like, I think you can understand parts of her opinions, but I think a lot of them are kind of flawed. Um, yeah. You've been crushing it with the nostalgic content lately. Blah blah blah. Yes, yes, yes. Disney had a rollout system with their stars. They produced them everywhere and shoved them down our throats until they were culturally accepted. And they'd offer little to none support to the aging stars and let them go. Zach and Cody are great examples. Disney gave them their show, ran it out, let them go, and then they had to find their own way to succeed. They wouldn't do anything with the adult actors because the kids just wouldn't be interested. It was all a business decision. Which, like, I feel like, especially nowadays, like, it's really, like, and I strongly believe that, like, it's important to actually, like, consider the person that you're hiring and, like, treat them properly. And, like, I don't think Disney needs to, like, give them housing or something or, like, put them through college or anything like that. But there's definitely something to be said for how Disney has to like schedule kids for really long hours and then teach them on set and like the lack of quality instruction that is usually had and also like the behavioral issues and like the fact that these producers can often be flawed folks or just messed up folks who then like are with these young kids for like 8 hours a day and they rub off on the kids, right? Like I the reason I started saying that is because I don't want to like it's not to teachers being bad necessarily, right? I'm sure some of it is like the difficulty of teaching a young star actor who like is famous or even feeling like or even jealous of like the other fame of the other actors and like just generally things that contribute to like a not good teaching environment. Um there's a lot of present with child stars. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like this is an interesting topic. Like to me, like there's a lot to think about, and there's a lot of like nuance. And yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye, folks. That was a great ending. Hey folks, thank you so much for watching. Remember to like the video, subscribe on YouTube, follow on Twitch, and have a great rest of your day. Bye!